So one of the things that Orange is brilliant for is that from the very youngest right through to the teenagers that you see, Ivan, Orange have this kind of concept of the bottom line, which is the win, like the take-home piece that Orange is trying to get through to the children that week. So in our very small ones, it might be Jesus is amazing. With our older ones, I know that with our 11-year-olds, we've been looking at this last month, forgive others because God first forgave you. So that is something that will be repeated over and over again in our sessions. And with the very smallest in the room, that's something that's repeated maybe 10 or 12 times, whereas with the teenagers, it might be once or twice. And we can tell, can't we, with our volunteers of our very smallest people that we have in our building, just what they've been learning, because our volunteers come out saying it over and over again. And we've just had a lovely story shared with us by the ministry leader of our toddlers, that a new family had come to our church with an 8-year-old and 2 preschoolers, and they had come into the session and they'd been learning about that Jesus is amazing. And again, this had been repeated lots and lots of times. And the mum and dad came back the following week and said, every single morning when our toddlers had opened their eyes, they had asked, when are we going back to church to hear that Jesus is amazing? And that was just a real big win for us. We were really pleased that that bottom line had been taken home, but just shows how that curriculum works with Orange, that the children, even though they're 2 and 3, really understood the point of the session and were able to communicate that to their parents.
And another one of your success stories on the content particularly, and how successful the Connect groups is working with this content. You shared a bit about Jesus first forgiving us, and we need to forgive others. We had this young lad share with us at one of our family services, our Big Story Sunday, about how he'd been learning to forgive and how to forgive, and he made this decision to go and forgive this lad who was bullying him, and shared that with the group, and the Connect group came around and prayed for him. His Connect group leader was also praying and offering support. But what a great testimony to say he's learned this lesson, that he needs to go forgive in the face of adversity, because that's what Jesus did. The story's still unfolding, and we're still praying for the young lad as well. But he has the safe space to retreat to, come and share with his Connect group and his Connect group leader about how that's going, and get how the forgiveness is working out, because it is an ongoing thing. He's also learning that it's not just once or twice, because this bully is still, he stopped for a bit and has kind of started again, and this young man is practicing that forgiveness, isn't he, ongoing?
Yeah, and even with Mum, I had a conversation with Mum last week who said she was struggling to forgive this young lad who was kind of picking on her son, and her son turned around to her and said, but Mum, I learned on Sunday morning that it's not just a one-time thing, it's 70 times 7, yeah. And you have to keep forgiving him too, Mum. And she was like, wow, been taught by my 11-year-old.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just some of the benefit that we're getting out of the content, aren't we? It is so rich, and we'll come on to a few things later, but it is just so relevant for our day and age right now, talking about Jesus, talking about stuff that's going on in the world, and some of these stories just are really great encouragements of how the content is working really well for us.